It is better to give than to receive. In today's world, most people forget about this saying's truth. Many people take it as given and therefore do not think about what it is like to be good to someone else. We don't have to think about something extraordinary. Sometimes a few words or a smile will suffice. Even the most meaningless gestures can change someone's life. Caring about others and selfless attitude are the backbone of modern civilization, which is not only based on religiousness but also on simple ethics. It is therefore most intrinsic that due to our Lutheran nature we would do everything in our power to save those in need. It is this sense of duty that makes us organize our Charity Week in our school. The Charity Week program started in December 2004. This proposal came from the students when Miss Kalina's class saw the catastrophe of the tsunami in Indonesia in the TV. They proposed, what if our school organized a Charity Week? And then, in 2005, a collecting began. It should be said that in this catastrophe approximately 150,000 people died. Therefore, a charity movement started in the whole world. In Hungary, the Economic Aid Organization was one of the organizations that coordinated this collecting, and then the class organized the first Charity Week. This happened to be in Lent. This has meaning because in Lent we try to be silent. We try to pay attention to each other, to ourselves, to God, and ultimately what important is that this week was full of activity, and since then it has always been an active week in which we collect charity. The students do not simply collect aid with the teachers, but rather they try to contribute to this effort through different activities. I'll say a few examples. Paper collecting, PET bottle collecting, recyclable bottle collecting, sport events, on Thursday a Holy Mass, a church service whose income was again used for the target group. This was a very colorful program. The students initiated it. I joined the program with Ms. Dios in 2006. We took it over from Mrs. Kalina's class. How the target group has changed. In the first year, we too joined an international program. With the help of the Economical Aid Organization, we collected for an Afghan school named after Sándor Petőfi. We looked into it and found that they don't even have the most basic tools for learning. As a class teacher together with Mrs. Dios, it was very good to see how good initiators the students were, how active they were. This was true not only for the organizing class, but for the whole school community. Later on, the circle got smaller. Hungary, Institution of the Blind. We wanted our students to experience how people with disabilities lived, so the next year the collecting was for the Institution of the Blind. There was a flood in Transylvania. They too were a target group the following year. With the orphans of Böjte Csaba, the Dévai St. Francis organization was another institution which was for us important. We tried to help their work. I remember, we took the charity, not only money, but computers from the school too. We brought these used computers to Nagyszalonta. In Nagyszalonta we met with Brother Csaba. What was very positive, that a sort of synergy started. The classes competed with each other for an honorable goal. They tried to collect as much money as possible. And in that first year, when we collected for the Afghan school, the different Petőfi schools in the country started to collect aid as well. Well, as it turned out, our school collected the most aid by a huge margin. This was something nice to experience. What kind of values would I like to put forth? Solidarity, which we could experience in action. Experiencing the love of our neighbors, a kind of general brotherhood. He who lives in Afghanistan is my brother, the same as those who lived through the atrocities of the Indonesian tsunami, and all of this in Lent. I was happy that we could be tools of this activity which started from our students and the class teacher. I can only think back up to 2010, after which my class left, and then the mode of organization changed as well. Instead of two classes holding the whole thing together, but rather that everyone has a part in it.
I have been working on the Charity Week for a very long time. I first got this task as a class teacher, essentially when I came back from maternity leave. It was a 9th grade class and we were appointed to do it, and we had to organize in cooperation with another class. More recently, it became the task of the student council, and I stand on the sidelines, help things go along. Without a student council, I wouldn't be able to do it, as I can't do this alone. There are a lot of tasks that we share with each other between the students and colleagues. I basically only hold the major parts of the organization in my hands. The PE teachers have a huge role in the sports events. The paper collection is always held by a chosen class with their class teacher. The part where the student council has significance is that it is on these meetings that the children choose in which part they want to help us. We have always wanted to help a Transcarpathian village, and since the Russian-Ukrainian conflict was renewed, living conditions in the region have become very poor. The prices have become higher, the people are paid very little, and the quality of life has become very bad. So we wanted to see if we could help the Hungarians living outside the borders in some way. The relationship with Bodalú is through a colleague whose congregation maintains contact with them since a long time. As the donation had to go across the European Union's borders, this was the only way we could solve this.
Your heart, oh, so they know that someone cares.
So their cries for help will not be in vain.
We can't let them suffer. No, we cannot turn away.